Hey everyone, this is Hansen from Nada, and today it's a small video about the start of the Sancho Panza testnet, and uh, it's pretty cool. I mean, there's not that much you can do yet, but it's really the start of all the technical implementations of governance, really, uh, to really do the infrastructure for it. So that's why I think it's really cool. Basically, to be part of the Sancho Panza testnet now, you need to build with either the master build and fetch the master. So basically, you can follow any of the guides for how to get the GitHub for Cardano node, and then you could check out, for example, master. But also, I believe the latest Cardano node 821 pre is for Sancho net as well. And for the files you need, then you can go to the configuration, and you need to go to the SanchoNet testnet, and you then test Conway era functionality. And basically, they have encouraged us to try to break as much as possible and test as much as possible, so we have a free pass. And each epoch is 1 day, so things are a bit faster. There will be many respins of the network in the future. And yeah, the people who view this video might not all of you be familiar with staking pool operations, and we'll have a course for that in the future. After the summit in Oslo, we will have a course for NADA members on staking pool operations, where we'll go through all of this. But the very short version of it is that we download all the configuration paths for specific to the Sancho testnet, and then you can run a staking pool for the Sancho testnet. And you need to also get the Sancho testnet ADA, so you need to use a faucet for that. And when you do, you will get a staking pool. This is an example of this. This is running the 821 preview build, and it's in epoch 58 currently. And this is the guild live view that has been then adapted to the Sancho testnet here for this pool. And since the last restart of this node, we have served 326 blocks, and all of them within 1 second actually. And that's because on the testnet there's not that many relays, and I think this incoming and outgoing pairs are all of the staking pools currently running this, or pretty close at least to the other public actors in this testnet currently. So some other things to keep in mind, like since this is so new, like most of the toolings are not yet adapted to it. For example, Ura is a way to watch the data and communicate through what's called like the mini protocol of the Cardano node, and with seaboard data. And it can't agree on a handshake, so it's currently not adapted to the Conway era. And that goes for a lot of the other tooling like Kupo and DBSync. Everything is not yet ready for it. So it's, for me, it's a bit fun because it's like the ITN days. We have to do everything manually. So we have to dump ledger data through the Cardano client command line interface itself. And I actually did just that. Like, let's go to here. I made just a script that's fetching the data. It's just running this Cardano client. That's the 831 master version of the client. And it's querying the tip, so it's getting a bit information on this, and it's putting this in the tip.json, and then it's querying the ledger state, and this is a dump of all of the ledgers. So if this was a big mainnet, this file would be in hundreds of gigabytes. But since we're on a testnet, we can still do this, and we can do it fairly fast. And it's dumping it in ledger state, And then I'm doing like parsing with jQuery, so that actually just like makes it more easily readable in JSON format for the human eye in the file, and making it also larger. But anyways, that's why I usually use seaboard data. It's like 1/3 of the size of JSON data. Then I put it in a tally.json, and then I just loop this and continually do this data. So I just fetch like this, and it will fetch every 5 minutes. And then I'm currently serving this with like a very simple development server for HTML, where I made a small script. And then I actually am having a small like, explorer on the Sancho, Panza, oh my god, testnet, where I'm doing like data. And this is where we get to the fun stuff, because I want to show like how you currently can do a vote for a new constitution. And I've done so in Epoch 57, and we're going to do so again now in the current Epoch 58. And Epoch 52 was actually when they implemented the current constitution. And the way you do it is you send a transaction and you identify by your UTXO and including your index of UTXO. And this here is the transaction ID from that wallet. And this is the return address for the deposit. It's currently 1 ADA or 1 million Lovelace. And this is the action content. That's like a hash of the constitution file. So it's not actually serving the constitution currently. So this is important to know. In the future, we'll likely have an anchor or something where we actually can also read the new constitution that's suggested. And it should also have committee votes and delegation representative votes, but it's not implemented currently. And this one was ratified in Epoch 52, but yeah, if you go back to the default and go to 57, I implemented 2 constitutions. I'm just messing around, and had some vote. I voted yes for it myself, and then me and another stickman voted yes for the other version of the constitution. Blah, blah. So let's also take a look like how do we actually do this voting. Let's go to a script category. So I actually just made a few scripts for doing this, and basically it's just like passing the Cardano client information. So we are going to pass a constitution text file. That's Baratia, this one. So it has only a preamble, and it's Barataria after the land in Sancho Panza. And it goes something like this: we will not surrender our dreams for Barataria, as this would be madness and should be avoided. Life on Barataria should be seen not as it is, but as it should be. The citizens of Barataria will make it our business to know ourselves, what we need. And while this is a difficult lesson to make, time is on our side. In Barataria, anyone should be a king by his own fireside, as much as any monarch on his throne. It is encouraged to play the role of the fool, try to break things and ask the silliest questions you could possibly imagine. And notice the 3S in possibly imagine. Yeah, and this is actually made based on some quotes from the book. All of these rules are actually based on quotes from the book and slightly rewritten to make it fit as a preamble. Yeah, so this file, you could check its B2SUM. It will be something like this. That's a hash for this Baratia text. And this is just an example. And currently you're just passing this hash. So you can only verify that whatever, like if you want to verify that this is the constitution we all agreed upon, everyone will have to check that they have the same hash when they download this Barataria text. So you will need to make it public. But we plan to, in future iterations, to actually have an anchor so everyone can just read it from, for example, a GitHub or somewhere else. Anyways, so first thing we do is to actually pass the Cardano key argument, and that's to do a governance and governance action, and the action is create action, and we're going to create constitution. Then this is just means that we do another line, and we make sure to pass that we're doing this in a convey era, and we pass the deposit. We need to pass the verification key file. In our case, it's the Sancho pool call key, and then the constitution file, the file I just showed you. And then we get the out file, that's the constitution action that will actually then submit in a transaction. So let's create it. Then after we create it, the next part is to build the transaction. So we do a transaction build, and the testnet magic for convey is 4. We pass the convey era, we select the text ticks in, and we actually just do a command again to get the UTXO of our payment address, and just pass that. And then we put back the change back to the payment address, and we again pass in the transaction the action, the constitution Barate action, and we have the witnesses for the payment key and the cold key of the pool, and then we have a raw transaction file. We can also look at the constitution Barate action that we created. Let's build it now, and it automatically calculates our loveless fee, so 0.17 ADA. Let's let's look at how it looks like. So this is the CBOR, and in here is actually the sum, so you can verify that it's the same. When we did the, let's just do it again, the B2 sum. So notice it has this, and then we can check the here. Let's paste that. Pasting is not working so well, but if you see here FE95E, and then you look at it, and then you can see that it's FE95E. So it's really part of the CBOR is this hash for the constitution file, and the rest of it, I guess, is some metadata. I have not fully digged into it, but to sign that this is a governance action for a new constitution. And you also see it here, and it's a type governance proposal. I wonder what happens if we make a description and pass that. Let's see if we break something if we do that. And so we have this raw text, and we just need to sign it. And to do that, we just have a script called sign. And what we do is we just get the raw file and then sign it with our secret keys for the staking pool and for the payment key. And I actually forgot we actually need to submit this transaction. So yeah, that's the next step. Let's see. So we are going to do a transaction. Submit, and then we just need a socket path. So this is socket Cardano sockets, Sancho pool, and we also need to have the file. So this file is sign, I guess. Oh, we need also testnet magic. So testnet magic for There, now we have submitted it. So, uh, we should now actually be able to, let's fetch a new, see if it's already there, and let's see if we can. Okay, it's not yet there in the epoch data. We'll give it a while. Oh, I think actually we did one mistake. We need to, let's see. By the way, this is a Tada staking pools script package. I really like to use that. Simply because you can actually read the script and make sure everything is safe when you use it yourself. Actually, when we are building it, we need to. This is correct. It takes in, but I think in the signing, let's see. No, that's also fine. Yeah, we can get ID of this transaction in a script. So basically, it's just getting the last UTXO, and that's what we use for submitting this. So it should be this one with 8001. Let's see, is it now submitted? Not yet. Let's also restart the browser as well. So, no, it's not yet there. We have to wait a bit. Oh, we created, built it, we submitted it. We signed it and we submitted it. And the next part will be to vote on it. And this is the hash we'll vote for. Let's just do that. So we will say yes, we're an SPO. Currently only can pass as an SPO. Whoops. Guess he did not like that. Let's make sure we're copying this some. And let's do the voting. The auth file for the vote doesn't matter. Can be that one. That's fine. This is fine, 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 and fine. So let's also vote for it. Now it's also voted. Let's try again to fetch the data and then let's see the tally data. So this is how it looks like in the ledger dump. We had the proposed in 52 and 57, and it's not yet here in 58. Interestingly enough, yeah, looks like it's not yet. It could be because I am currently proposing in 57 that I actually cannot submit again. That could be a potential reason. It should be getting in the newest state. So let's just test that to make sure. Aha, this here, it should be doing the ledger state, not the ledger state formatted. Let's see. Okay. And let's also reload this. There we go. Okay, my Explorer needs some fixing. I should sort it so the 58 is the lowest. there you can see it. So we have actually submitted and even voted. You can here see my public ID of this pool. And you can see, let's see if the hash matches. So the ID, maybe it's changed because we actually did a vote, so we actually need to look up the ID we did. Let's see. Uh, yeah, it's changed because we did the vote, so now our new UTXO is different. I don't have the old data for that. So, whoops. Maybe it was this one where we... No. Okay. And this is the... And this is the pool one. Okay. But yeah, we can at least verify that the return address is actually to the public key. And then the content action is some hash representation of this constitution update, and it doesn't have any committee votes and no delegation representative votes. Let's see what happens if we now submit a vote where we say no, just to try to break stuff. And this is what I want to encourage you all to do, like to really test these things and see what happens when we do stuff. So this time let's... Oh, I registered it. So you can see here the hash is 80, and it's the same as the one that's actually registered in the ledger. That's pretty cool. It worked. But let's vote no instead and see what's happened. So we use the exact same here, and we'll pay 0.17 ADA to do that. Okay, it's submitted fine. Let's try to fetch the data then. Then we should be able to date here. Still vote yes. Let's give it a bit time. If it will change to a no vote, because it's interesting to see if we can change during the epoch or not. This is actually implemented right now, so you can see here it's block 906. Let's see. Let's see if that helps. Right, so we actually have to render it again, I guess. Oh, it's updated, so it's now a no vote. Cool. So I just wanted to show this, like, this is really the start of the Conway era, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this small video where you saw me make some mistakes and having to adapt on the fly. But this is like the start of things. Like, you hash it out in the terminal and you try to experiment and yeah, try to play around with the Cardano commands and see what you can do and try to break stuff. Like, for example, what happens if you spam 1000 votes for the same thing? That will be fun to test. So there's many things to test. Alright, that's my video. Thank you.